Hey everybody, it's me, Laura. I have a different kind of craft today, and this is one that I just printed off the internet. There are a lot of paper crafts online that you can just print and make. And if you're bored, it's a great easy way of doing something with minimal supplies. You basically need printer paper, a printer. You can always come to the library and print something here. We have paper and printers, obviously, and then scissors and glue. And in this instance, we might want an X-Acto knife. We're gonna make a card, and the card we're gonna make is of the man who was in that court proceeding where the Zoom filter popped up and he suddenly looked like a cat in front of the judge, and his little cat eyes went back and forth, and he kept going, "My assistant is trying to help me." He was very funny, and he just said, "I'm not a cat." So we're gonna make a little card that is this poor cat man. And so I printed the template out, and I will link the place where I got it down below. And the first thing we're gonna do is just cut this out. It's pretty simple. We are just trimming it down to a card shape. You guys know what a card is. You've had one before. This is apparently from a whole website where they have tons of different cards that pop up that you can print and make. Sometimes they cost a little money, but this one cost me nothing, which is the kind of amount that I like to pay. Nothing. We're getting there. I keep saying that in all the videos because I feel like I have to fill the dead air since I'm not very good at editing things. So I can't like cut this out or speed this up in the way that I want to do. But I can say we're getting there a bunch of times. That's always, you know, reassuring and makes you less bored. Sure, of course it does. There's our first piece. Now, when you look, you see that we have dotted lines there. Those are the fold sections. So what I like to do when I have a fold section is I lazily just run a fingernail, and I do not have long fingernails, along the line where I want to fold it, and then it pretty much folds along that line. If you are more particular than me, see that folded pretty well along that line. If you're more particular than me, you can run like a little something hard, like, I don't know, letter opener, something along that edge. Who has a letter opener? Even like the edge of your scissor, not the blade, along the edge like that. Just run it along where you want to fold it, and that gives it just a little bit of encouragement to fold along that line. But I find I have less control when I use a tool, and I have way more control when I use my thumbnail. So I just use my thumbnail or my fingernail, and that's all it really needs. Plus this fold is super easy because it is just in half. You guys can fold something in half. I believe in you. So I have folded my two things. So that's what this piece looks like. There's his little kitty eyes. Those have to come out. Yes, I have to denucleate. I think that's what it's called. I have to remove the eyes of this cat. We'll get to it. I think I should get an X-Acto knife for that. But in the meantime, I'm gonna cut out the second piece. The second piece has the little pop-up thing that goes behind the first piece and makes that guy's eyes move. Those are the cat's eyes there. There are actually instructions that I have not been following printed on this page. Things like this, you can figure them out. You really can. They're not that hard. We don't all need instructions for everything in our lives. Although there are some times that we do. Like that time that I thought, I can reverse engineer a paper crane. No, I can't. I can't do that. I can't look at a paper crane and say, this is how you fold that. Paper cranes are actually really hard. They're not supposed to be for talented people, but I never did learn how to make a paper crane. My life's failing. Right there. Not the biggest failure in my life, but it's a failure all the same. That should be my goal. I should start every one of these craft videos with my weekly attempt at making a paper crane. Except they're already long enough. This is already 6 minutes long. And all I've done is cut things and talk. I don't know why you guys put up with me. Okay, now this, I think I'm supposed to notch. It looks like I'm supposed to notch it, so I'm gonna do that. And if I'm wrong, it's a thing that happens. So first off, we're gonna fold this little guy in place here. And then we're gonna fold this little guy. Tab B, tab C, each folding in their own way. And we will fold the top. This one I think I'm gonna actually score with my fingernail again. The fingernail. This is why I can't have manicures like other people. I mean, I try for you to make my hands look a little bit nicer because I'm doing up closey things and no one wants to see my gross fingers up close. But I will say, I'm not a person who would pay for a manicure because I would ruin it within 24 hours. All right, so now we have many pieces. And we need a nice X-Acto knife. So I'm gonna go get one out of my bin that I have them in over here. Woot woot. Now I don't need to tell you that these, not this one because it didn't bring a blade, but these are pointy and dangerous. Don't get stabby with this, but do get a blade in it. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, reassuringly, the blade was actually on the floor. Yeah, I'm worried too. We found it. It's fine. Nobody's going barefoot in the library. Meanwhile, this is why we don't let you go barefoot in the library. Because we craft. Okay, X-Acto knife. Pointy, scary, dangerous, deadly, owie. Pointy. Okay. You know all these things, so don't do stupid stuff. Don't stab with it. Don't point it at things. Don't walk with it like this. Just be careful. Common sense, safety things. So when you cut out these little guys' eyes, you're gonna wanna do it on a surface that no one's gonna scream at you if it gets nicked, because this is gonna go through the paper real quick. And when it does that, it's gonna leave a deep scratch in whatever surface that you're working on, like your family's beautiful dining room table, or the floor, or I don't know, your sibling. Don't do those things. Get like heavy cardboard, go outside, do it on concrete. I don't care. Just don't do it on anything that matters, and that includes family members and friends. They matter. So make sure that whatever you're using in the X-Acto knife territory is safe. Safety first. Remember what my grandpa always said. You're gonna lose an eye. He said that a lot. And the kid next door actually had lost his eye. Although I don't know if it was from playing irresponsibly. But everything we did, it was like, better be careful. You're gonna lose an eye. Still haven't, but I live in fear that one's gonna pop out one day. Thanks, Grandpa. Anxiety is real. But eyes don't just pop out like champagne corks. It takes a little bit more work than that. And we're not gonna do that today. Meanwhile though, that's how much effort it took for us to get the little eye out of this paper cat. Don't play with these. And don't listen to me when I talk, except for when I'm giving you safety advice about not stabbing someone or something or yourself accidentally or on purpose. Just be safe. Like, I don't know how much more I can tell you about being safe. There used to be this TV show, and this TV show was called Rescue 911, and it was deeply traumatizing. It was all about the terrible things that happen where people call 911. Yeah. One of them was this guy who, or it was a lady who fell on a drinking glass because she had the flu, but she was thirsty and wanted water, so she went and got herself some water. Still traumatized. Still traumatized from that. That poor woman. She was okay, obviously. Everybody was okay in these stories. But I wasn't. Okay, I went too far with this cat thing, so I'm just gonna kind of use a dark marker to kind of fill in. All right, we got a cat. Poor cat. So obviously when you assemble this, you know that you want to line this guy up. So that tabs are together. So kind of like that. You want the A tab and the B tab to be glued, but you're not gluing this. This has to move freely. So I'm going to get out the instructions and read them to you. So glue tab A to the back of I am not a cat, lining it up to the bottom of the card. Tab A, I am not a cat. So we are going to line it up all pretty with our handy dandy glue stick. And use that glue stick to stick this thing together. Oh, we've lined it up beautifully. My kindergarten teacher would be proud. Look at that. It's lined up. It's glued. All right, and the next thing I need to do is glue tab B to the back of tab C for extra reinforcement. How do I do that? How do I do that? Okay, a lot would happen to be helpful to me if I just read the instructions. So what we're doing is gluing tab B to the back of this flap. That's what reinforcement is, Laura. All right, so we are slipping side B. Okay, it's working. This is what we want. We're gonna now glue these flaps down, but not in a big way. We still want there to be room so that our little cat eye thing moves freely. So I stuck glue on this, but not aggressively. Towards the bottom, I don't really have a lot of glue. Okay, so now we have I am not a cat. I can see that. And then Kitty's eyes move, and this is kind of moving around. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue at the bottom here. I hadn't had any there, but I think I do need to make a channel for that so that it can't get out of its slot. So now I have glue at the top and at the bottom, and here's his eye. Now, as you can see, there's a little mess there at the edge where there's white showing. I don't know why that's a thing, but we're gonna make sure our card folds nicely here, which it's not. So I'd like to thank it for that. There we go. And then when that happens and you have a little edge mess, you can trim that if you want, but I'm not going to. Oh, see it glued. I knew I was gonna do that. These are just a little bit frustrating to make, these kinds of cards. However, you can free your thing pretty easily. Yeah, glue got on that. We don't want that. Technical difficulties. I should not have put glue at the bottom there. Don't put glue at the bottom. It glues your thing down in the wrong way. So if you do something like that and you make a terrible mistake, that's what excess paper is for. You can just put a little paper there to cover the mess that you made of your life, and put a little paper on top to cover the mess that you made there of your life. Let that dry and adhere while you let that dry separately, and then trim off the excess with your fancy scissors. We knew Laura would screw this up. We knew. Of course we did. Everybody knew. Even my kindergarten teacher that was so proud of me for using the glue sticks only moments ago knew that I would screw this up. It's just a thing that happens. Sometimes being a perfectionist pays off for you in your life, and sometimes it just makes your life a little bit harder for no reason. There. Now his eyes move the way they're supposed to. Woo! See, it only took me a minute. And I will probably put 2 tiny little bits of glue at the very bottom there, and not that line that I did before. There. And that is our card. You can say on the back that you handmade it. I think they're fun little crafts. This is from makepopupcards.com, and I will link it in the description box. I wish I could flip this for you so that you could tell that it says I'm not a cat. So just watch this whole tutorial in a mirror, and then it'll all read the right thing, because I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry. And I use the front-facing camera so that I can tell that I'm actually looking at you and not at the red light over here or at my own face, because I can't get used to filming myself. But at least I'm not a cat. I'm gonna get hours of entertainment from this. All right, check the bottom for links there. and have a good week.